I'm looking at the prospect of borrowing costs going up because the Federal Reserve, I think, has pledged that they're going to make at least 3 or 4 rate increases in 2022. And then you've got inflation is still, really hot right now. So there's incentive, you could argue, there's a strong incentive to act right now, because if you don't, there's a reasonably good expectation that the borrowing costs are going to be higher if you're looking at borrowing to fund something, like a real estate purchase, or, costs are going to continue to rise. So even if the borrowing costs didn't go up, you're going to get less bang for your buck 6 or 12 months from now. That's what you're going to be hearing. That's the logic. That's what you're going to be thinking. So is that sound in your opinion? Or is there something else there that we need to think about before we start making those kinds of decisions?
Well, to answer that question, we have to first back up a little bit and find out, and everyone needs to ask themselves this question. One, am I going to make this large purchase anyway? In the next 12 months, do I expect myself or my family to buy this property, to buy a new car, to get investment real estate? Are we expecting to do that? If the answer to that is yes, then I would answer your question with yes, now's the time to do it, if you're going to make a move in the next 12 months. Now, keep in mind, it's all about your percentages personally, right? I mean, if you're looking to buy a house right now to homestead, to live in, and that house mortgage would be 40% of your income, well, I don't think you're ready. And there's really no sense in even talking about what it's going to be 12 months from now, because you're just not ready. You can't tie up that much of your income to your house because it just doesn't leave enough for everything else. So if you run the numbers and you're at 30%, which is the highest I recommend, then okay, cool. Let's go buy that house right now, because I do think throughout 2022, I do think there is a good chance I'm not going to say it will, but I'm going to say it looks like there's a good chance interest rates will be higher and prices will not have come down yet. And they would not have reached that equilibrium between the two.
Right. So you are in a position then where, based on reasonable expectations, what you can get for $1 now is going to be higher value than what you can get for $1 a year from now, most likely. And borrowing $1 today is going to be cheaper than borrowing $1 12 months from now, most likely. So I guess, we're still analyzing this, I think, from the personal finance perspective. What would you steer clear of? What would you be leery of in terms of borrowing or in terms of spending?
So when it comes to borrowing, I would be very leery of over leveraging or borrowing, financing property that has an adjustable rate on the interest. And we've seen they've kind of crept back a little bit into favor over the past couple of years with the low rates and property values going higher. Sometimes people can't afford it, so they're pushing the limits a little bit. Doesn't seem to be as big as an issue as it was 13 years ago, but time will tell. So don't do anything with an adjustable rate. Make sure you get it fixed and lock that rate down for the 15-year period if you're buying a home.
The Purposeful Podcast.